So these days when I'm doing a gestural, sort of quicker figure drawing, it looks something like this. That's the process. And I like the way they look and I really enjoy doing them. I saw some comments like, a good artist is never happy and never satisfied with what they do. And I'm like, I quite like some of my drawings, and is that bad? Am I a bad artist? I like them, all right? So I'm happy, but I didn't used to be. I used to be really unhappy with them. And a lot of what's changed comes down to resolving the things we're going to talk about in this video. Also, I look at hundreds of beginner and student drawings every month, and the feedback that I have comes down to these things. And we're not going to talk about specific technical things in this video. We're talking about the actual approach to the sketch and what can change in there. And so you might recognize yourself in one of the two things that I suggest that you change. So check it out. By the way, the reference that I'm using in this video and that I've been using recently in practice is from Graphit Studio. Really cool, dynamic poses for action or nicely lit ones for painting. They've got so many reference packs. They're all really professionally put together. And whatever you're looking for, you're probably going to be able to find it. Some like really good male or female anatomy stuff where you want to study and think about muscles, for example, or certain costumes, or like I said, great lighting for painting. So check out their references. I have a link below if you want to check it out, and I think it comes with a discount. So check out the description, and it also helps us out as well. And thanks to Graphit Studio for the great references. So I'm going to draw this pose 3 times, and 2 of the times I'm going to try and showcase something that I think you would want to avoid. And then the 3rd time I'm going to try and explain, hopefully a better way of doing it. All right. So here's my first one. All right. So here I see the pose. I'm trying to do quick sketches, right? So I'm thinking, all right, quick sketch, supposed to be gestural and expressive. So I'm going to do these kind of quick marks, that means, right? So I'm trying to be expressive. I'm trying to just go for it. The tutorial said to feel it, be expressive in your marks. And being expressive means like kind of, you kind of imagine a painter just go with a brush, just going rah, 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 like that. And so that's what I'm trying to do. This is what an artist is supposed to do, like rah, rah. It's passion, etc., blah, 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 right? Now, the problem here is not the scribbliness. You can do great gestural drawings with a sort of scribbliness. You don't have to always have super sort of clean line quality or whatever. The problem to me here is that this is, number one, it's rushed, all right? But more importantly, it is mindless. The marks are mindless, all right? Expressive doesn't mean mindless. It doesn't mean that there's no thought or intention to your marks and you just kind of stab at the paper. And if you stab at the paper really fast, then it's coming more directly from your soul or something. All right, so there isn't much artistry in here, to me anyway, because you're not really thinking about what you're doing. You're not going, I would like to do this. You're not making many choices. Does that make sense? So this is the first type of mistake. The second one is almost the opposite of that, where everything is way overthought and it's really getting into, okay, hey, I'm a detail-oriented person. I'm seeing these details. I'm seeing these small things. I'm very worried. I'm really worried about this not looking like a human being. I don't want a mutant. I don't want a weird alien-looking thing at the end. If I don't want to do this, I don't want to rush it and make it look silly. So I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to sort of really try to force every line to be perfect. And I'm just basically going with, I'm being led by worry. I'm worried. All right. All right, my handwriting's terrible, but that says worried. I'm tentative. I'm hesitant. I'm terrified. Okay. All right. I'm scared. I'm approaching this sketch like it's heart surgery, and I don't know how to do heart surgery, and my hands are shaking and I'm really just worried, right? And so this one also doesn't act, is also mindless. This is also mindless because I am just not putting in any of my choices in here. I'm not making choices. I'm just trying to avoid things. The key word in my head is avoid. Avoid embarrassment, avoid mistakes, avoid it looking silly. And so I'm not trying to do anything with it with any purpose or intention. I'm just basically desperate for it to look all right by the end. And so I've got these. These are very, very common. One version of these, one or the other, all right? So look, we're trying to do a sketch and we want to be purposeful. We want to be kind of mindful of what we're doing, right? Really thinking about what we're doing and giving it purpose, all right? So here's the approach that I like to take. You don't have to take this approach, but hopefully the sort of thoughtfulness you might sort of pick up on, all right? So I'm going to think about, where's that rib cage? Like, what's the line down the middle of the chest? And then how do I extrapolate that to the rib cage? This is an approach I like to take. But if you think about the pace, all right, this is 2 marks, but this gets a lot done in the figure, right? This is doing a lot of work. And so it's a quick sketch. Doesn't mean I rush it. It means that I just draw less. So when I did these lines, I ghosted them first. And then once I was happy with what I was doing, I put that line down. If I just stab at it straight away, I don't know what I'm doing really. Whereas here I know what I'm doing. I don't have much time, so I'm just going to draw less information, but the stuff I put in, it has to be really meaningful. I want to come off this and I'm thinking about how the hips are shifted across to the side. All right, the hips are shifted across to the side, and then there's this sort of pants shape down here. All right, so it's a real simple shape and another real simple shape. And I'm really thinking about, okay, this comes down this way and then this comes off this way. For me, when I look at a pose like this, I really care about the stretched side and then the squashed side. And so I'm drawing that. I'm not drawing a lot of stuff. I'm drawing the stuff I care about. And when I'm doing it, I'm not rushing it. I'm really thinking about it. I'm thinking about how far across are these hips shifted. Let me get to the thighs. These are foreshortened thighs. I'm going to turn them into simple cylindrical shapes. So there's one here. And then look, if you look on the reference here, I'm thinking about this kind of ring that goes around the thigh just above the knee, and then the ring that goes around the thigh closer to the pants, and that's going to give me this sort of tapering cylindrical shape. And so when I'm looking for this one, I'm just thinking, how does this relate to the crotch, right? And that's going to help me. I'm going to look at that. I'm going to take time to observe that so that I can capture that foreshortening of that thigh. And I'm doing this. Maybe you don't care about the same things as me, but the point is the intention, the pace, it's thoughtful, it's observed, all right? And when I look at the thigh, it's squashed because she's sitting on that box. I want to get that kind of flattening here. And so I'm doing lots of observing, but I'm not trying to draw everything that I observe, and I'm not desperate to copy the reference as best I can so it doesn't look silly. I'm trying to capture what I care about, what I'm seeing in this pose as best I can. So I'm not being like some kind of expressive whatever, but I'm also not being terrified. I'm trying to focus on the things that matter to me and nothing else. And then I'm putting care, right? I'm putting care into capturing those things. And look, maybe I'll screw it up. Maybe I'll screw it up, but it's not heart surgery. All right, so if I do screw it up, it really doesn't matter. But I'm trying, right? I'm taking time to observe. I'm being thoughtful. Here I've got like a raised shoulder, so the collarbone is pivoted up in towards the ear. All right, so my mind is, I'm thinking the whole time that I'm doing this, I'm thinking about stuff. And the whole time I'm thinking about, I'm not trying to copy this. I'm not trying to copy everything. I'm seeing things and I'm thinking, do I care? Does that matter enough to be included in this drawing? All right, is that, like when I look at this, like if you look on the reference, I can see all kinds of little things like, hey, I know that muscle. I'd spent a month studying this muscle, you know? But does it matter right now in this simple sketch that I put that in? Not really, so I just kept this as a straight line because I'm editing myself. You know, here's a simple C-shaped curve. That's going to be enough. That's going to be a nice way to capture that. I'm going to think, all right, this arm, I want the wrist to be about here, just above the head, and then the hand disappears behind the head. I want the elbow to end up not there. I've slightly exaggerated how much I've pivoted this shoulder up. All right, so this means that probably the elbow then is going to have to go a little bit higher. So that's a little bit of a exaggeration, which makes this a little bit trickier. This hand needs to disappear behind here, so the rest ends up there. So the wrist, sorry, not the rest. The wrist ends up about here. Then the elbow is going to come out to here. And so these things matter, right? Like, where does the elbow come out to? All the little nuances of the anatomy in the arm, they don't matter. They might matter in a longer sketch, and they might matter to you, but they don't matter to me, and this is my drawing. So I'm thinking, what matters really to me? To me, it's about this squash and stretch. All right, it's about that dynamism in the pose, and I'm trying to capture that. And so I'm being thoughtful about what I'm trying to capture, and I'm trying to capture it as simply as I can, leaving out a lot of information, but well, I'm trying to do it well, like really well observed, rather than just, whatever, it's about expression, blah, 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 which is just completely mindless, right? So it's like there's these two different extremes that can happen. Overthinking or not thinking at all. And what we want to do is kind of think about what matters and put that in, and then edit out everything that doesn't matter. And when we're putting stuff in, taking care over those things, you know? So by the way, if you want to learn how to simplify the figure and look for the things that really matter, we do have a free mini course called Fresh Eyes. It is really good, even if I do say so myself. So check out the link below. And if you really want to get into it, if you really want to take your drawing seriously, join our study group. You get one-to-one feedback. You get all our courses. They're really concise and well designed, and they'll take you from the most basics of drawing all the way through to stuff like shape and edge design to make your stuff look really, really cool. And you get courses, live sessions, one-to-one feedback. It's incredible value, again, even if I do say so myself. And then there's another video for you up on the screen just for you, so check it out and I'll see you over there.